Hello Dub Nation, it's always a thrill to connect with you, especially as we're about to reveal the latest news that could shape the fate of our beloved Golden State Warriors. But before we dive into this whirlwind of information, let me make a friendly request. Show us some love by clicking the like button to strengthen our bond, and hey, if you are not subscribed yet, join our channel for a thrilling and emotional journey. Don't forget to turn on notifications to stay ahead of the game. 2018 NBA champion urges Western contender to trade for former Warriors guard. After a blockbuster trade that saw him leave the Golden State Warriors nearly 12 months ago, Jordan Poole's first season with the Washington Wizards has not gone as planned. Expectations were high for Poole to have another standout season with increased offensive opportunities, but the 24-year-old often buckled under the pressure of heightened defensive attention. 2018 NBA champion Nick Young has called on the Minnesota Timberwolves to consider trading for the former Golden State Warriors guard, Jordan Poole. Poole averaged 17.4 points, shooting less than 42% from the floor and under 33% from beyond the arc. His future is once again a topic of discussion as he enters the first season of a 4-year, $128 million contract. Poole's underwhelming performance has led many to label his contract as one of the worst in the league, which complicates any potential trade negotiations for the Wizards. Despite this, Nick Young suggested on X/Twitter that the recently eliminated Minnesota Timberwolves should pursue Poole this offseason. With veteran leadership from Mike Conley and rising superstar Anthony Edwards, the Timberwolves may not need an addition to their starting backcourt. However, an explosive guard off the bench could be beneficial, even with the presence of the much-improved Nickeil Alexander-Walker. While Poole's $30 million per season salary might seem steep for a bench player, and he has yet to prove himself as the winning player the Timberwolves need, his scoring potential is undeniable. For context, Jordan Clarkson, who will earn $28.4 million over the next 2 years, could be a suitable option if Minnesota seeks another high-scoring bench player, though they already have sixth man of the year, Naz Reid. Poole's career-best average of 20.4 points in his final season with the Warriors, before being traded to the Wizards along with Patrick Baldwin Jr., Ryan Rollins, and a future-protected first-round pick for Chris Paul and draft rights to Tracy Jackson-Davis, shows his potential. A fresh start with a team like the Timberwolves could reignite Poole's career and provide Minnesota with the scoring depth needed to make a deeper playoff run. Renewed interest in former Warriors center after stellar overseas performance. With a brief lull before the NBA Finals, other basketball news is surfacing, and former Golden State Warriors big man DeMarcus Cousins is making headlines after clinching a championship and Finals MVP in Taiwan. Boogie led the Taiwan Beer Leopards to a 4-0 sweep over the Taipei Taishinmars for the 2024 T1 League title, averaging 25.3 points and 14.8 rebounds in the finals. His standout performance included a double-double of 24 points and 24 rebounds in the championship clinching game over the weekend. DeMarcus Cousins' dominance in Taiwan has NBA fans dreaming of the former Warriors center making a comeback to the league. The 33-year-old stellar play overseas has reignited interest among fans, with Cousins last playing in the NBA for the Denver Nuggets during the 2021-22 season. Cousins, once recognized as one of the league's most dominant big men with 4 consecutive All-Star appearances, saw his NBA career derailed by injuries. His stint with the Warriors in 2018-19 ended in an NBA Finals loss, yet he still proved to be a productive offensive player in limited opportunities towards the end of his NBA career. In his most recent NBA game, Game 5 of the Nuggets' first-round series against the Warriors in 2022, Cousins scored 19 points and grabbed 4 rebounds, shooting 8 of 12 from the floor and 2 of 3 from beyond the arc in just 15 minutes. However, fans hoping for Cousins' return to the NBA might be disappointed. In a February interview with Hoops Hype, Cousins himself poured cold water on the idea, stating, "I know I've had my time there." While the Golden State Warriors could use a skilled offensive center to complement Tracy Jackson-Davis and Kevin Looney, a revival of Cousins' NBA career with the Warriors or any other team seems highly unlikely. Cousins' initial signing with the Warriors in 2018 remains one of the most surprising free agent acquisitions ever, with the then 27-year-old accepting the taxpayer mid-level exception after tearing his Achilles in January that year. Warriors' lack of interest in former All-Star puzzles given roster needs. Given that the Golden State Warriors have finished outside the top 8 in both offense and defense over the past 2 seasons, it's clear they need to make significant improvements on both ends of the court as they head into the next season. With the trade season rapidly approaching and the NBA draft at the end of this month, the focus is on which area the Warriors should prioritize. Should they aim to bolster their offensive support for Stephen Curry, or should they seek to strengthen their defense with a veteran big man? Many believe that the primary focus for Golden State should be on enhancing their offense. This was confirmed by Anthony Slater of The Athletic in a recent episode of the Warriors Plus Minus podcast earlier this week. My sense from the Warriors is that it's more on the scorer, dynamic offensive player wing than on rim protection. I think there's a belief, maybe it's fatal, maybe it's not, that a Draymond, Green, Tracy, Jackson Davis front line can defend well enough. Anthony Slater. The reported lack of interest from the Golden State Warriors in Brandon Ingram is baffling, especially given their need for another offensive threat this offseason. Despite seemingly fitting the profile of a scorer and dynamic offensive player, Slater reported on Friday that he wouldn't expect the Warriors to show interest in Ingram, despite his availability this offseason. Ingram might not be a perfect choice, he's not a great three-point shooter and would be a step behind Andrew Wiggins defensively. However, the reality is that there might not be a perfect trade target, and at least Ingram has the offensive skill set to take some pressure off the 36-year-old Stephen Curry. The former second overall pick has averaged 20 points per game in each of his last 5 seasons, including a career-high 24.7 points and 5.8 assists last season. After finishing 10th in the Western Conference, the Warriors should not be in a position to turn their backs on all-star level talent, especially someone who is only 26 years old and theoretically entering the prime of his career. At the very least, it's worth engaging in discussions with the Pelicans to explore potential deals. While the Warriors' reported disinterest in Ingram is puzzling, it may also reflect their reluctance to trade for a player due for a substantial contract extension. The 2020 All-Star is eligible for a 4-year, $208 million contract, which is a significant factor in the Pelicans' willingness to part ways with him. The Warriors might be looking for a player who requires less financial commitment, but there are no guarantees that another player of Ingram's caliber will become available in the coming months. Why Tracy McGrady excludes Stephen Curry from his all-time top 5? Tracy McGrady sparked a lively debate among fans with his unique reasoning for excluding Stephen Curry from his list of the top 5 players of all time. Despite a challenging 2023-24 season for the Golden State Warriors, Curry's individual brilliance was on full display, keeping his team competitive and leading them to the play-in tournament. However, their subsequent loss to the Sacramento Kings meant they missed the playoffs, a point McGrady highlighted in his assessment of Curry's legacy. McGrady's exclusion of Curry from his top 5 is rooted in Curry's inability to propel the Warriors into the postseason. Although Curry had a stellar season, McGrady argues that truly elite players can carry their teams to greater heights, even amid adversity. The crux of McGrady's argument is whether Curry did enough this season to be considered among the absolute greats. This stance is intriguing because Curry has been widely praised for his performance this season. Despite not having his best statistical year, 26.4 ppg, 5.1 APG, 4.5 RPG, 45 FG%, Curry was the focal point of opposing defenses due to his teammates' struggles. McGrady, however, believes that the best players in history have overcome more significant obstacles to at least secure a playoff berth, something Curry failed to achieve this time around. Curry's place among the NBA's all-time greats has been hotly debated for years. His revolutionary three-point shooting and his role in modernizing the game are undeniable. With 4 championships under his belt, he's one of the league's most successful players. However, Curry has often had substantial support, playing alongside stars like Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, and benefiting from Kevin Durant's presence for 2 of those titles. McGrady's skepticism centers on whether Curry can truly carry a team on his own, a doubt seemingly reinforced by this season's outcome. It's worth noting that this discussion might be premature, as Curry's career is still unfolding. Despite the disappointment of the season, Curry has more opportunities to solidify his legacy. While many fans disagree with McGrady, believing Curry's accomplishments speak for themselves, the pressure is on for Curry to lead his team back to victory and further bolster his case as one of the all-time greats.